What's going on, world? So in this video, I want to talk about like a four questions. It's like a template that I use for everything that's trying to enter my life. And when I'm doing some of the shadow work, I have to ask myself these questions. This is something that can get that low vibration, that gunk out of your spirit and your soul, and bring it to the light. Because no darkness can survive in the light. All right. But yeah, I was just sitting back reflecting like this year's almost over. 2020 is almost over, and it's been a crazy year. But if you've been focusing on everything but yourself, this year was intolerable. But if you've been focusing on yourself, you've been using this solitude, you've been using this lockdown quarantine to make yourself better. I asked myself, let's just assume it's just a year and probably a few more months into 2021. But like, let's just say a year. After this year, am I going to be like, who am I going to present to the world? The same old sad sack or this new reinvented like dope person? So that's what the goal was. The goal for June 2020 to December 2020 was to make myself a high value male. It just rolls off the tongue. I just like the way it feels. At first you have to try to be it, but then it just sinks in. You're just like, yo, I'm good. But I'm gonna tell you why about that in a little bit. So I have this little template here. Before I get into these four simple questions, you have to be honest with yourself with these. If you just say, I ain't got no problems, but you hate everything about your life and you hate everybody around you, you're doing something wrong. These people were attracted to your energy. So in these situations, we're attracted to your energy. So you need to figure out what it is that's going on. I believe there's a spiritual answer to everything. You may not be there. It may just ask these questions of what do I physically need to do? But hey, as long as you get that work done, I don't really care. You know, through these questions, I've, made myself a high value male, like I've said. And I have, got to the point where, if you heard in other videos, I'm a divine being. I'm a God. I'm a king. I have no problem saying this to people. I don't care what you think about me. I have developed this level of just mental untouchableness. Like, I'm mentally untouchable. And it's like anything that affects me is in my mind, and anything that comes up, I have to establish that this is just literally a figment of my imagination. I am limitless, I am abundant, I am opulent. These are the things that just ring in my head all day. I've rewired my brain. And with this template, this will help you get there. So I'm going to read through these questions, and then I'm, just going to fill in the blanks. All right. So number one is, do I have a limiting belief? All right. And another starting question, the same way to ask that question, which is question number two, is, does this serve me? Does X serve me? Does this job serve me? Does this diet serve me? Does this spiritual practice serve me? Does this friendship serve me? All right. And then the next question, assuming you've identified a limiting belief and that what's the other one? The serve me, like something no longer serves you anymore, something no longer benefits you anymore. You have to ask yourself, what are you going to do? So what am I going to do about it? Right. So, some of these things could be very quick. It could be a quick text, a quick call, like an afternoon, and some things might take a few years to get over, or a few years to fix up, a few years to put all your ducks in a row. You never know. It all depends on what the situation is, and only you can decide that. And then the last question is kind of like checking your test before you hand it in, is everything resolved? So once you go through the process, you identify it, you try to fix it, you have to look back on it. Like, did the fix I made, did that fix work? All right. Am I still facing the same issues when I identified it? If I still am, then repeat step two. What am I going to do about it? You keep going back to step two until it's yes. Like, is it resolved? Yes. All right. So, for example, what inspired me to want to make myself a high value male was my failed relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talked about them heavy in the beginning of my YouTube career, because it was just like, it was something that was deep on my mind, and it was like almost like venting for me, But what put me on the path was my limiting belief. Do I have the limiting belief? Yes. What was it? It was, I'm not good enough for a good relationship. I'm not good enough to be loved. You see what I'm saying? That was the feeling and the thought that was going on in the back of my head. So what did I do? What am I going to do about it? Well, I'm going to make myself a high value male. How do I do that? So I went in and I started doing research, reading books, watching people's interviews. You know what I'm saying? And the first step was understanding terms I don't like to use, but like, the simps and alpha males, you know what I'm saying? And like, I was like, wow, okay, I have a lot more alpha male tendencies, but when I get really emotional, I can see the simp in me. Once again, it takes a big, or I guess a big, step of courage to admit that about yourself. Like, wow, I'm really a simp right now. Like I'm sending all of my energy to these girls that are not sending it back. Why am I stressing myself out when they clearly are not thinking about me? You see what I'm saying? So it's like you really have to ask yourself these questions. So I was like, yo, all right, cool. I now know that. What am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna study people that are good at it. I'm gonna study high value men and take things from them. Because once again, if you just copy somebody else's game, you just as lame as when you started. But you take things that work for them and you make it your own. Like Denzel Washington, Will Smith, Kevin Gates, Nipsey Hussle were like my favorite people to watch. Oh, and Prince, literally, I mean, that's who I was named after, so might as well learn more about the dude. That dude was freaking awesome. I can't even lie. Like, I hated on him when I was a kid, but now that I'm grown, I'm just like, yo, I like that. That mysteriousness. So whenever you meet me, you're going to get a whole melting pot of all these people I've watched. And these are just the top people. There's been people here and there. I like that. Let me get that. How do I get that respect from someone? How do I get the attention from, if I were to want like a specific woman, how would I get her attention? What skills did he do that got him to do that? How did that help him? How, blah, 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 blah. All these questions I asked and I put them into my own arsenal and made them me. I mixed them up and I made them me. And through these questions and through this work, I've made my goal has been accomplished. In 6 months, I've reached my goal. Like I said, I'm a God, I'm a king, and I will not settle for less. Sure, that could be the thing that like contributes to my loneliness a little bit. So when I say, is it resolved? Well, the belief, yes, of I'm not deserving, that's gone. Like I know I'm deserving of the top of the top. And if you don't match that energy, we can be friends, but you can't be that permanent fixture in my life. This is where I am. I brought all that energy back to me. And I said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. So you always have to ask that question, what are you going to do? You may not do the research. You may not do this and that. Your situation may be something very simple. Like, oh, I need a new car. Like, does this car serve me anymore? No, it doesn't. So what am I going to do? I'm going to save up money to get a new car. Or I'm going to rent a car. Or I'm going to like ride my bike to work. Simple things like that. All right. The other way of looking at it, does this serve me? Let's just say, me, I don't like corporate America. So does this serve me? Does this job serve me? Technically, no, I serve this job. Realistically, so I don't like that. So what am I going to do? For me, I went to my spiritual route. I go to my spiritual bag. I go to the all-knowingness in me. I go to the God in me. And I ask if hey, yo, handle this. Let's get out of here. This is an example of one of those things that takes a little bit longer. I could snap my fingers and something will have happened right now, or it takes a little bit of time for things to develop. I like the journey that I'm on. So right now I see the doors opening up for me. I'm like, I see it. Something's coming. I don't know what it is, but something's coming. And I know one day I'm going to be out of this corporate America job and you're not going to hear me talking about it as much. You're going to see a different background one day. I'm telling you. But so like the job, what am I going to do about it? For me, I went to my spiritual bag. I started learning more about manifestation, law of attraction, the other universal laws, the law of vibration, polarity, all these types of things. For you, you might just say, okay, I'm going to go get some more education to get a higher paying job. Cool. If that's your route, go for it. But just another example, like friends. Does this friend serve me? Well, we've been friends since elementary school. That don't mean nothing. Do they serve you? Do they benefit you? Can you talk to this person? Like I have friends that like I talk to and I get nothing out of anymore. Does this friendship serve me? Not really. You don't hit me up. I text you a couple times just to see how you doing during these crazy times. You ain't got time to text me back? Bet. That's when my dad's saying comes in. You're going to need me before I need you. It's like, I got God with me. If you got God working for you, who can be against you? That's something, it's close to that in the Bible. Once again, I'm terrible with quoting Bible things. But you know what I'm saying? If God's on my team, you don't want to be my opposition. You know what I'm saying? So these are just the things I run through in my head. Like my confidence is through the roof because I ask myself these questions. I trust my intuition. I trust the God in me. What you need to do is start to trust yourself too. You might not be comfortable calling it that God in you. Call it that energy. Call it that inner knowing. Call it that sixth sense. Call it whatever. Learn to trust it. Ask yourself these questions, and you'll always be good. If you trust it, and you be like, you know what? It's kind of crazy, but yeah, there is something that I don't like to admit about myself. Then cool, admit it to yourself in silence. You don't need to put it out there like I do. But for me, I like to put it out there because it keeps me accountable. But like just have that conversation with yourself and everything that runs into your life. Even when you're in a good place, like right now, I'm in a great place. But there's still things always trying to come into my life, and I have to ask, okay, does this serve me? Yes or no? Something might look good on the surface, but then you find out real quick, like, nah. Like, there's been like a couple like money scams. You like just someone that's knowledgeable. You start talking, and then you be like, you just get that vibe, and then you start to. There's something in your life confirms it right after. Like, that's that me. That's that manifestation. That's that attraction. It's always keeping me on the right track. Once you get to trust yourself, once you get to love yourself, that inner knowing speaks louder and clearer, and you just always know you're on the right track. So, real quick summary. Do I have any limiting beliefs? Does this thing serve me? What am I going to do about it? Is it resolved? You ask anything that's coming into your life, any people, and you word it however you want to word it and apply it to whatever you want to apply it to. And as long as you keep making the right decisions, your life is going to be dope after this, because you're going to have less and less holding you down. So I hope this is helpful for everybody. Hope everything made sense. I hope you can learn from my experiences, my openness, and I hope you can share this energy. Once again, I live in a world of abundance. I live in a world of opulence. I live in the lens of divinity. I see the world as me being a god. I see me being the main character of my life, the main character and the author of my life. Technically it's God, but I'm saying, while I'm here in this individual expression, I'm writing it. I'm saying what I want to see in it. Random thing I put out there. They say we have 5, 6 senses, where we have one, the thought. These are all just the sensors, the flick or pinch. That's just raw data that's sent to your brain, and your brain processes it. So you need to understand that using that logic, your eyes only interpret things. So when you put the energy out there, that's the true raw information. The universe is that raw information, and it comes into your life. And that's how you see it, and your brain interprets it. You are the author. Once again, you send the energy out, that raw information, and it comes back to you through your eyes, through your mind, so it can be interpreted. And then if you're blind, your hands, if you read Braille and whatever. But you know what I mean, all right? So, share my energy. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to talk about anything, let me know. I'm considering making like some type of social media strictly for my channel. So if people want to talk to me in any type of way, then we could just do that. We'll see. I might make one just to see how it goes and see who follows it, and the types of conversations I have. But I guess exposure is exposure. So whatever. You might see that in the next couple of videos. We'll just give it a shot. I'm not scared to try anything anymore. Till next time. Take care, guys.